So like I drew something in Illustrator and it's like, a line tool thing and I just need to know how to color it. Like, can you tell me what the best way is to like color my stuff in Illustrator? For sure. That's actually a good question. But you know what? There's actually more than one way. I know of at least three ways to color your objects in Illustrator. So if you're ready, let's get to it. So first off, we've got the ever handy versatile pen tool. And so in this case, we've got this duck. It's drawn with lines. So we're going to grab the pen tool. You can, grab it over here on the side or hit P for pen. And then what you want to do is pick a color. So we want to be in shape mode. So we're going to go ahead and toggle those two swatches so that the stroke is empty. Then we're going to select yellow. And if I start just painting on the same layer as the duck, you can see there's some problems. I accidentally clicked on one of the paths and it changed my stroke to black. So I can undo and try again. But better yet, let's go ahead and create a new layer. So go over to the layer panel, hit new layer. We're going to lock that top layer. Again, we're going to grab the yellow. We're going to turn off the stroke. And then we can go in there and click along the path. And essentially we're on a layer below, so we're drawing below with the pen tool. Now the pen tool takes some getting used to. There's training on how to use the pen tool. You can see if I click and drag, it starts to create a smooth transition. If I hold down Option or Control, or Alt, it'll break it and allow me to change direction. So again, takes a while to master the pen tool. So that's one reason why it may not be, the best option. And it's also a little slower. So now I'm going to go ahead and click on the beak area. I've selected orange. And there we go. So we've colored our duck. It looks good. If we wanted to do some kind of shading, we could create a new swatch color based on the yellow. Drag that black slider down, hit OK, and same thing. We can just draw with the pen tool on that bottom layer. And I don't know why I'm not seeing color. Well, it drew it underneath for some reason. So I selected the yellow layer, hit Command Shift, and then bracket, left bracket, and sent that to the back. So you can start to get shading in there. So that's one way to color in Adobe Illustrator. Let's go ahead and move on to the second way, Live Paint Bucket. So this is fast, and if you're new, this may be the direction to go. So we want to go back to our original layer. We don't need two layers for this one. So we'll unlock that first layer, select it, and then select our duck, or whatever it is we're coloring. So everything's selected, and then over here on the left, we want to grab this Live Paint Bucket tool. And it might be underneath the Shape Builder tool. But there it is. Just hold down the button, Live Paint Bucket tool, or hit K. And you can see there's some red text there that says click to make a live paint group. And you can see the yellow is selected in that little swatch heads up display. And if I were to hit the arrow keys, left and right, I can toggle through my swatches. So we've got yellow, we'll click, boom, it's filled that whole area. And now we'll go to the beak, toggle over till we get orange, boom, and boom. The downside with this one is you can't shade. You'd have to use the pen tool or the next method I'm going to show you. And just as a little bonus feature here, you'll see that my swatches are pretty clean. Because initially when you come into Illustrator, it's got a crap ton of swatches and it can be kind of annoying. So if you wanted to delete your swatches, you can select them and then hit this delete bucket icon, delete swatch. Yep, and he gone. Okay, so there you go, bonus. And the third way of painting in Illustrator, and there are undoubtedly more ways, but these are common practices. So with paint modes, okay, so we know we've got this duck and its black line, and we want to paint behind it. So if we go and grab the blob brush, because that's, paints more like you would expect. Your paint strokes blend together and it's not creating individual strokes. So what you want to do is select your color. So we're going to select yellow, and then down below in your toolbar over here, there's these different modes. There's draw normal, which is just going to draw on top of everything. Or there's draw behind mode, and then it's hidden here, but draw inside. And we'll show you when that's active. So select draw behind. You can hit Shift D to switch or toggle through modes. And then, this could be a little bit more time consuming because you're essentially just painting it in, but you can lift and continue your paint strokes, and you want to stay inside the lines. You can draw over them, and then because it's on the paint behind mode, it's just going to keep on painting behind. And you can draw right on over your wing and know that it's just going to appear behind there. So this gives you that organic feeling that we all grew to love from our days coloring and coloring books and what have you. And we'll go ahead and do the beak. So, probably not the best way to do it, especially if you have big areas. So now, here's where paint modes really comes alive, and that's with the draw inside mode. Now, it's a bit of a gotcha because you'll select it with the normal, selection tool, and you'll go down here to hit draw inside, it won't work. You'll grab your blob brush, you'll try to do draw inside, it won't work. So there's a gotcha. And what you want to do is do the direct selection. So A, or click this little white arrow up here, and then, select the thing you want to draw inside, and then it becomes active, and you can select draw inside, and then you get this dotted border around it to let you know that you're good to go. So now if I grab my blob brush again and then my color, you can see it's not changing the duck color because we're painting inside. So what I want to do is start to paint in the shadow, and boom, we painted inside. If I wanted to do some weird little stripes, I could draw outside, and because I started inside that shape, or even if I start outside, it knows that that's the only shape that we are drawing on. So wheat. So if we wanted to get out of this mode, we'd hit V, double click outside of the canvas there, go to A again, grab our beak, draw inside. Let's create a new color for the beak shadow and grab our blob brush, and again we're just going to paint a little shadow line under there. Bada bing, there you have it. Different ways, 3 different ways, mind you, to paint or color an object inside of Illustrator.